Now I have to do this again because my mic was muted. Coach Adasa here, metaphysician, personal development coach, wellness entrepreneur, and founding member and leader in Extreme FX Global Academy, where Bitcoin and Forex collide. And we're trying to do some moving. We're moving from one platform to another, and now we're back on the other platform. And I'm trying to get my house in order. And when I say my house, I'm talking about my backgrounds. That's some beautiful virtual backgrounds, right? And I was just trying, sister, sister back here laughing at me and everything. And look, I have to laugh too because we have been having a time with this thing here. And I'm gonna try it again real quick. I'm gonna try again, and if it doesn't do what it do, then look, we will just go back to what we were doing before. That's all I could do because yeah. All right, and that now I'm getting some messages and everything. Okay, so look, we only have 15 minutes with our 15-minute mind recap, and we're already 2 minutes in. So the first thing that I want to do, I'm going to switch up these banners here, is I want to invite you to our hyper launch that I'm having with Extreme FX Global Academy. It is at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we are going to show you everything that we have here in our on our education, the education platform, and the opportunity. Okay, what you say? This my granddaughter. You're talking about some the son of Joseph because look, sister, she came from our stock. She don't have no good sense, just like the rest of us. I know we've been having a time over here. So yeah, I want to invite you to our hyper launch, and so we will not have these technical issues over there because we've pretty much gotten that in order. But we're trying to get this thing figured out. Otherwise, we're just gonna go back to my pretty little thing with the flowers on it and all of that good stuff, right? So we're gonna do a recap on time, right? And that's what we talked about earlier on our Talk About It Tuesday topic, which is about time. How do we utilize our time? How do we invest our time? Do we invest our time and do we spend our time? We often say that time is money. Well, no, time isn't money. However, if we are wasting our time or we're spending our time, we're not valuing our time, if we're not mindful about what we're doing with the time that we have, then we won't get the results or see the results that we want, right? We'll see some results, but we won't see the results that we think that we want because on one end it's like, oh, this, but then the actual time, there's some practical things that are not happening because we're not doing them, right? Like with planning, if we have a plan, are we working that plan? What are the steps that we need to take as far as the plan is concerned? What is that plan? The things that are laid out within that plan, what are those steps that we're taking? Those practical things that we would do every single day in order to reach the particular goal. And all of that requires the time that we use to put in, right? That's pretty much it. And the thing is, it's so simple that it's scary, right? We think like, oh, it has to be this or that, and it's like, no, it's really not. It's just some really simple things, and it's daily routines. That's pretty much what it is. So we kind of went over some things in this book here. Let me see if you can see it. It's taking care of business, establishing a financial legacy for the African American family. It's a book that I bought some years ago, and I happened to pick it up and read some of the things out of here. So I'm going to do it again. It says your practicality determines your spirituality. The Greek word for business is the word for which we get the English word pragmatic. And pragmatic means to be practical. So are we being practical in the time that we have? It says, therefore, the commandment here, because there's well, let me go back a little bit. The nobleman's command to his slaves, do business with this until I come back. That's Luke 19 and 13. And so it pretty much talks about stewardship, right? In which we have stewardship over time. So what are we doing with that time? It says, therefore, this commandment was for the slaves to do something practical. And there is nothing more practical than being a good financial steward. Because what? What do we do every day? Trade time for money. So whether we are employed and we're trading time for money, whether we're self-employed, still trading time for money, whether we're doing business, it's pretty much the same thing. But that business, it may be a product or a service, and in that we may be trading the product for money, but that still does require some time. And then even the service that requires time. We invest. Okay, going from business owner to investor. If we invest, we still have a certain amount of money that we invest into something that we feel is going to grow over what? Over time. So time is still involved. So what does it say? There's nothing more practical than being a good financial steward. The problem with a lot of Christians or believers is that we think the more spiritual we are, the less pragmatic we have to be, when the opposite is true. Spiritual people are people who have their practical lives in order. Because what? Spirit materializes, spirit matter. And with matter, like something that you can see, taste, touch, feel, smell, you have to be practical. So, as I gave an example today, say I had some tea in this cup, right? This was an idea in somebody's head at one point, and then it materialized by utilizing some materials and ceramics and stuff like that, and became a teacup. So, I have to look, you see lipstick on there? I have to wash this cup. That's something practical. In order for me to continue to use it, put tea in it or coffee or whatever it is I put in here, that's something practical that I have to do routinely if I want to at least drink tea or coffee or whatever out of a clean cup, right? So, what am I doing with the time? What are we doing with the time? What are the practical things that we're doing with that time? And then also, let's see, something else here that was really, you know what? I'm not going to read that. I'm going to read that. I read it earlier. So if you didn't get a chance to watch our earlier live, because I had a guest on, Coach Cotton, I try to have her to come on every Tuesdays for Let's Talk About It Tuesdays. At least have somebody to talk to about, with Talk About It Tuesdays. And we went over these things with time. So make sure you go back and watch that for our Talk About It Tuesdays. So here's the thing about it, and then we're gonna end and go over to the hyper launch that's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. The time that we're in now, the season that we're moving into, springtime, which is officially March 21st at the spring equinox. This is a time where um, there's a sense of urgency. That sign Aries ushers in that spring. Urgent, right? Like act now, do, move, instinctual. Why? Because when you're cultivating the soil and then you're planting seeds so that there can be a harvest 6 months from now in the autumn, right? When it's that autumn or fall equinox, that's a harvest time. Well, you can't have a harvest without seed time. And this is seed time right now. So in seed time, you got to hurry up. You got to be, urgent, act quickly. You need seed, right? And you plant those seeds. Like once you've cultivated that soil, you plant the seed. And then when you do that, then we have the next season, which is summer. But still, there are weather conditions that we have. We have rain, because you need sun, you need the water from the rain, you need all of these things. You need the air, you need it to be hot, some hot days as well with the sun out, because that helps too with the soil and the seed that's down in order for it to take root and then start to sprout up. And then eventually in the summertime, you start seeing the fruit where it bears the fruit. And it doesn't mean just because you see the fruit doesn't mean that it's ripe, right? You want the fruit to be ripe for the picking. So in the summer season, this is a time where you're still working. We go on vacation in the summer, and that's really because the educational system that we've been in, where we've been conditioned that, hey, you vacation and you take a break in the summertime. That's not even nature. So we've been taught against nature, where you take a break in the summer. No, you work in the spring and the summertime, because in the fall time and then winter, in the fall, you're reaping the harvest of what you did in the spring and summer season. We're going into the spring now. Now, here's the thing. What are we going to do right now in this spring season? What are we going to do right now in that seed time? Guess what? Money is circulating, right? Like, yes, I'm talking about it. Money is circulating. Why? You got refund, which means this has been your money that's been sitting up that somebody has held. Well, not somebody, but an entity has held for an entire year, right? And in that year, trust me when I say that they have traded your money in a $7.3 trillion market and made trillion, and there's a reason why it's trillions of dollars, because they've made big money off of money that they've held from your paycheck that you could have actually held and been doing the same thing in that same $1 trillion or $7.3 trillion market, right? So you get it back. It's going to come back pretty soon. Most people have it because their W-2 is filled out incorrectly. Okay, then there's something else that's happening. The STEMI, everybody's talking about that. So this is extra money that they're pumping the economy with because they want people to what? Circulate it, spend it. They know that they're going to spend it. They know that they're not going to invest it in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Or if they do so-called invest it, I mean, they're really not, in a way that is going to cause it to really, truly grow and change your financial trajectory. So, what I'm doing here right now is at least helping people to kind of recondition your mind, seeing the opportunity that's available right now to not take all of it, but just a portion of it, just a seed of it, so that you can invest it in the Forex market. We not only have where you can learn how to trade on the Forex market, but then also financial literacy and personal development, because you need to grow in order for your money to grow. And you need the financial literacy in order to continue to know what to do and how to do with the money, right? It's called maintaining, sustaining, all of that with good stewardship, right? because 6 months from now, you can see a harvest. I know that I will. I know that for a fact. But what about you? Right? So that is my time, 43 seconds or 45 or whatever seconds over. I'm going to meet you over at the Hyper Lounge, which is in about a half an hour. Um, Half an hour, maybe about 35, 40 minutes. Okay. The information is down below. Linktree/coach.hadassah. You go in there, you click the Zoom link, enter the password power in all caps, and you'll be right over there in our Hyper Lounge so that you can see what we're doing over here and that you can learn how to trade in the Forex market and have cryptocurrency. We have XFX tokens that are backed by Bitcoin and the personal development and financial literacy that is needed in order for you to continue to grow. You grow, your money grow, and also passing that knowledge, that wisdom and knowledge to your children as well, because we also have a program for the youth. All right. So I'll see you over there in a little bit. And that is my time with the time that we have. So you guys take care. See you in a bit. Peace.